They got some bikes, they're gonna ride through all the countryside, and they'll do it side by side. Kenneth and Allie, they're gonna rally through all the peaks and valleys. Shout out to Rand McNally, with the West Coast ready to greet them in search of the unending weekend. Well, it's a trans-American ride.
All right, we're sitting in a gas station parking lot in East Lexington, I think.
20 miles in.
2 miles in. It's almost 4 o'clock.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's 3:45.
Oh my god.
And we're having an interesting conversation, and I thought I should grab the recorder because this is the real stuff. That isn't just the. This is what is that called when you do something? This is a candid moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're just talking. We should just keep talking. You said it was one of your biggest. So we were talking about planning and this differences in how I would be cycling alone versus with Allie. And so she was asking me if I was frustrated, because I do feel a little frustrated, but it's not.
I think also what adds to your frustration is you're taking on the full responsibility of navigation.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And
I kind of have to, though. I made the routes this morning. Like,
yeah.
I saw what was ahead, you know? It kind of made me feel like I should get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to. This is my growing pain. You're having growing pains because you're like getting up to speed with this travel style, and you're accelerating and I'm decelerating kind of. Yeah.
I know I'm slowing you down, and I know this isn't the style that you would do. And also, here's my problem. I can't eat food right now. I'm I don't know what's going on. It's really bad. I look at food and I get shivers because I don't want to put it in my mouth at all.
Yeah, she was literally shivering. I asked her if she was okay.
A quarter of this bar left, and I'm trying to hype myself up to eat it. So I know that I don't have a lot of fuel.
Yeah.
And the elevation is intimidating to me because our day on the Blue Ridge Parkway yesterday was 4,000 feet of climbing over 30 miles, and that was really hard.
Yeah. That's definitely understandable.
Yeah. And so now we're looking at all the things, because we still have to go over the Appalachians, and we're looking at all of the elevation, and he's like, you're 70-mile days, 60-mile days, and I'm like, wait, I don't know if I can do that. Also, I'm not eating food, and I have no energy.
Yeah, and it's it would be one thing if we could do a 50-mile day. I think would be right at the edge of what you feel comfortable with. But if we go 50 miles, there's nothing there for us to get resupplied with water or necessarily camp at. It might just be all residential, and then we'll have to sleep next to a bear again. So,
which I didn't think was that bad, though.
No, it wasn't bad. I mean, it was a good story, and nothing happened, so who cares? But it's just very different than the AT, where it was very, camping is built into the experience.
And I think on the AT as well, our performance levels were equal.
Yeah.
They're not equal right now. And we knew that going into this. You've been cycling for a long-ass time. And here I am, just got my bike 6 months ago. I'm like, oh, this is fun. I'll go with you. But my body's still transitioning, I think. And I know I'll get strong.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not here yet. And these climbs are hard. And it's
a
been
hard
hot,
state.
So...
Yeah, we shouldn't downplay the fact that, again, Virginia has the most elevation of any of the states, so... Which
also makes me very hopeful, because we're getting it done first.
Yeah, we're definitely saving dessert for last. Although the Rockies will be an interesting experience. But by the time you get there, I think you'll be more...
I'm viewing the Rockies like the Whites. It's it's going to beat us down. It's going to be so hard, but it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be one of the most memorable times.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be hard. Because I think it's going to be 5%. Some of the climbs we've had to do here have been 12, 14, 16%.
Yeah.
And that's not... From what I understand about the Rockies and the way they built those roads, it's gradual, but it's long.
Yeah.
So it's a 5% climb for 20 miles instead of having a really steep climb for one mile or something like that.
Right.
But, yeah, I think you might be surprised with how that ends up being. I might too. I've never biked out there. But yeah, I did have the realization yesterday. I was like, oh, Allie's never climbed up a mountain before with a loaded bike. Like, it's a very different experience because your rhythm it's harder to find because it's like slower than what you think you should do. But
Yeah.
it's also, you have to go that slow. Like 7 or 8 miles an hour is...
Dude, I'm at like 5 or 6 miles an hour, and I see you pulling ahead, and I'm like, hey, strong, and I'm getting there, so it's fine, but it still like fucks with you mentally a little bit too. So I kind of have a little bit of a feeling of guilt for slowing you down, but at the same time, you didn't want to do this alone, so
Yeah.
this is the price you have to pay.
It's worth it for the shared experience. And
Yeah.
we just met some lawyer guy who said that there's a brewery close to the natural bridge where we plan to stay tonight that
Yeah,
has
and
like
they have
a...
a safari park, so we can see giraffes when we're drinking beer. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, maybe they would have some food that you might be interested in or something like that. She did just complete her bar, so I'm proud of you. Good job, babe. 150 calories in the bucket. Yeah, I mean, I had a long period of time where I didn't eat enough, and it would constantly mess with me mentally and physically, because your body starts to feel bad, and then your mind starts to feel bad, and then they play off each other.
My mind doesn't feel bad, and my body doesn't feel bad either. Honestly,
Right.
the time that I feel the best physically is when I'm biking.
Right.
And yes, it's flat and downhill is when I feel the best, and uphill sucks, but it's just like I'm getting used to it, and it's fine. And this is like adapting to this new lifestyle, completely new for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done it a ton, but I've done extreme versions of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't do that now.
Yeah. It's interesting.
But this is what we both equally want, and I think we have that as the foundation of all of it. Do you think he sells weed?
That's rude.
Why?
We might as well. Had that pussy locked down before the quarantine. That's a recent song.
Could be the new DaBaby album. Although it didn't sound like him.
No, but it could have been a guest spot on the DaBaby.
Anyways, we should probably go.
Yeah.
We've been here a long. I can't believe it's 4 o'clock already. That's kind of sad.
That's the thing about these stops. It's that thing. The time always passes faster when you want it to go slow, and then vice versa.
Yeah.
It's fooked, but
But we have 20 miles left.
17,
17.
and we're gonna take another break at that brewery.
Yeah.
So
So either way, we're going to be setting up when it's still light.
yeah, and I think the later we get into that park, the better, because I don't think that we're gonna be technically allowed to camp there.
Right. Yeah.
Which will that'll be good because that means we'll get an early start on the day for one reason or another. Either because people are telling us we
70
have to
miles
leave.
tomorrow. I'm ready.
70 or 77, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but that's 7 miles is 30 minutes. 70 is 5 or 6 hours, I guess. Yeah, I feel like even though we're talking about all this stuff, it's good that we're talking about it because it's like a release valve so that if I do feel frustrated, it gets out before it blows up,
Yeah, definitely.
and vice versa. I'm not really a blow up kind of person though either.
Me neither.
Yeah, so that's good.
Everything's fine.
Everything is fine.
There's no actual problem. It's
No.
just like
It's just
we're
like
learning.
I would be 600 miles down the road, and we're 270 instead. So I'm going about half as far every day as I normally would. Mm-hmm. But I mean, yesterday I was ready to get off.
yeah.
That was hard, and I was like, I knew that. Well, I also didn't want to get rained on, and I knew that was a ticking time bomb. But yeah, sometimes I just get these feelings of just like I need to go. It causes a little bit of a peak and like a spike of anxiety where I just feel
Yeah.
like I have to go, and then my body starts doing little things to me where I feel like I might throw up or something like that.
Well,
I don't really feel that with you, but like when people stop us and talk to us for a long time, like
yeah.
that motorcycle guy yesterday.
oh yeah.
I was enjoying
yeah.
talking to him, but I was also like, we really need to go because I see that rain coming in and we have no water pretty much.
Yeah.
And we still have, we still had like 10 miles to do because that was at the 20 mile, or no, it was 19. You noticed we were right at the 19 mile mark.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then we had to go 27 to get off the Blue Ridge Parkway. But
But that was yesterday, and now today we only have 17, and we're gonna see giraffes, and
That'll be cool.
It's gonna be fine.
Yeah. No, I mean, everything is definitely fine. I don't
Yeah, and
disagree
we're
with
still
that.
happy, but it's
Yeah.
just these small things that come to the surface that are a reality for long-term stuff like this, and especially doing it with a partner, things you have to talk out
Yeah.
and work out, or else
It's not going to work.
it's gonna be frustrating the
You
whole
end
time.
end up either breaking up at the end or somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is not gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't know. You would be stranded. You just make a new life
Well,
in
I
East
have
Lexington.
No.
You have some what?
I have some money.
Yeah, that's true.
I would go west.
Yeah, well, that's what we're doing.
I know. So it doesn't make sense.
That's crazy. That guy who was just here, the lawyer, said that some store up the way is like the headquarters for the
Yeah,
Klan.
dude, I am not surprised. I actually watched something interesting this morning. I don't know if this should be on.
That's
okay.
fine.
But
Yeah.
I actually watched something interesting this morning about like how racism is not something you're born with. Obviously, it's something that you're taught. And riding down that flat road, you saw that kid
with
the
the hat?
skateboard, and he had
Yeah.
a Confederate flag hat. I was
Yeah.
like, he has learned that his whole life.
I had
and
that
these
same
small
thought.
towns in Virginia, when like racism is very real still here.
Yeah, here for sure. Yeah, and I wonder too, going through these towns, which probably make up the majority of the places in the United States because it's so big. I was like, is the majority of the country poor? Like, it seems like they have to be, because if everyone was wealthy, then, or at least middle class. I don't feel like the whole nation is actually middle class.
No. I remember thinking that about Virginia specifically when we were on the AT as well. Like these tiny ass towns where it's like the only thing they have is a gas station and like a shitty grocery store, and all of their houses are trailers.
Yeah,
I don't pity them.
No,
I
they're
mean
fine.
they're obviously fine, and like they've created these little towns and stuff, but it's in those little towns where thought processes like racism can easily live on.
well, yeah, I mean, it makes sense where they even came from too,
Right.
because it's just racism is really just like othering people, like
Yeah.
people who don't. I mean, what is more obvious to not like belong in your community than someone who physically looks different? It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's very primitive, very
Yeah.
very primal.
But it's thought-provoking doing this at a time like this when
Yeah.
the whole country is already focused on topics like that. And I feel really good about it too. I don't feel like I need to be in the cities protesting alongside people. I feel like I'm really learning a lot and being educated. I'm listening to a lot of Tupac and Kendrick Lamar as well, and like it's the black experience that we don't know. We can't connect with.
Yeah, you should listen to Outkast.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of their Atlanta stuff.
I love it, and I feel like I'm really growing. I don't know. I'm learning a lot about cycling, about racism, about everything.
It's a learnful experience.
Yeah, and we're good, and we're happy,
Yeah, this is great still.
and we're only on what day
Day
6?
six,
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Yeah. I just had a realization too. Sometimes my breath smells really weird, and I think it's because of my wisdom tooth coming in.
Ew.
Yeah. It's like flesh being pushed aside and like
Yeah.
sleeving off,
It's
sloughing
like my
off.
ears.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm
But
tasting
inside.
that. No wonder it tastes so bad. Well, 3:57. It almost
Yeah,
is actually 4.
we really should go.
Yeah, if the brewery's going to be open, they might close early-ish. But anyway, dang, the sun's out too. I guess we've gotten to the point. We've had our light bulb moment.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Cool. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, here we are. Natural Bridge State Park. Doing a little stealth camping. Fuck you, Rick. There is camping here.
Oh my god.
We'll get to that. If you don't mind, I'd like to quickly recount what I did this morning before you woke up.
Oh, yeah.
So I woke up at about 6:30, and I was just kind of wide awake, which was kind of how I would feel often when we were on the AT. Oops, spillage. And I was like, there was a bunch of work I still needed to do for making the podcasts. So I just woke up and I was doing a bunch of stuff, checking all my things, and I was adding all the files and mixing them down and then uploading them. And I did that until you woke up about 8, so it took me like an hour and a half to do that. And then, how long was I making the routes? Was it like 30 minutes maybe?
Yeah, it wasn't as long as you thought.
I didn't finish, because I was
Oh.
like, I'll do more later.
Right, yeah.
Because I did about 800 miles of routing, and then I was like, this is too much. I had to wear my mask and have my coffee next to me, and everyone kept walking by. And the people at the hotel we stayed at were so kind of gross. Like some dude who was like a repairman, they were doing the work in like the kitchen or the eating area. He burped like really loud. It's like, these people
Classy.
are. And the woman who was the front desk person today, she was talking about how she was having one of those days, quote unquote, and she was like, "I threw up this morning."
Oh my God.
And I was like, "Fuck, I want to stay the farthest away from you as I can." But I did a lot of business this morning. I fell asleep before you did by hours, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I haven't been sleeping well,
Yeah,
but I know why, and I can't tell you.
It's adjustment. But yeah, we left the hotel at 11, which was the checkout time.
Really nice morning.
Yeah, it
was
was.
so nice to be just chilling.
Yeah,
A good rest time for sure.
definitely. Doing all of our things. It's nice to not have 6 people that you have to navigate
It's
around.
a lot more chaotic. It's a lot of fun, but
It is fun.
with just the two of us. Like we're very agreeable with each other, and we know each other's capabilities, so we work together and get out on time. And we always feel satisfied with what we do. I feel like, well, you're struggling, but I feel like I'm accomplishing a lot.
Yeah, you are. We are.
Yeah.
I mean, 40 mile days is 1%.
Yeah.
So we did 1% of the trail today. We went to the gas station first. It was it really did feel like a space station.
Yeah.
me,
So
like-
many trucks.
Yeah, it's crazy. And got some foods from Subway. Hung out there for a bit, about an hour, and really got started at noon. And headed back onto the route. Had to do a few things adjustment-wise before we really got started. We had a lot of breaks before we started.
My chain broke today.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was right maybe a mile and a half before we got back on the route. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say what happened because I don't know. But all I saw was I looked down and my chain was dragging on the ground.
Yeah.
Like a foot behind me, and I was like, that's definitely broken in half. That's not even off.
Yeah, yeah. But
fortunately, it was an easy fix. Quick
Yeah.
link.
yep. Yeah, quicker than fixing a tire, a busted tube, which, again, these tires, we both have Schwalbe Marathon, whatever's they are. And I got them when I first started at REI, so the tires are probably I guess 3 months old. Well, no, because I got them in January, I think. So maybe 6 months old. But great tires, no issues so far for either of us. Even
Yeah.
we're almost 300 miles in.
Yeah, and that was the first issue, and it hardly was an issue. It was
Yeah.
just a nice break.
Yeah.
We had a beer.
Had a beer.
At 12 in the afternoon on the side of the road.
And that was a fantasy that I finally got to live out. Because a long time ago, my friend Noah, his dad had told us that we should go to France and just we should do the Tour de France, but just do it as tourists, not racing. And I thought it was a great idea, but Noah wasn't into it. But I just fantasized that, in France, I was imagining a bottle of wine that we would have, and anytime someone had a mechanical issue, the other person would get to drink while they fixed it. And so today we finally got to live that out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no problem with that. It was a fun thing to fix because it was so easy. The chain broke at the best place it could have broken at because you didn't lose any links. Sometimes if your
Right.
chain breaks, you have to actually shorten it a bit, which can mean that you can't get into all your gears potentially. If the shortening is too
That would
much,
suck.
it would suck. Yeah, especially for climbing in the Appalachians. But no issue. Got back to the route.
And then we had a really, really great road.
Yeah, for like 10 miles.
It was by a river. It was flat, no
Mhm.
traffic. It was very back road.
Yeah.
It was so nice.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was the best you could hope for, and probably something that will be very rare in the full spectrum of the trip.
Yeah. Today was honestly an easy biking day.
Yeah, I think
maybe
it's-
it's because of the amount of breaks we took and the fact that we didn't start until 11, but
Those things help.
it was a really nice day.
Yeah, I mean, I think we had 2,000 feet of climbing, so that means, 1,000 feet every 20 miles, which is very doable. It's stuff you don't really notice. There were some punchy climbs at the beginning, but not too bad. Not like yesterday.
But
Eh.
then
Then,
we went to, what was that town with a military academy?
East Lexington.
East Lexington.
Yeah.
So we stopped there at a gas station.
We made a clip there.
Oh, yeah. And there's actually this guy who told us about a brewery that was around, I guess, around the area that we are now, but ended up not working out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we left from there. We spent a long time there.
Yeah, probably close to an hour. Yeah.
Left from there, and then we were biking, and this dude shows up,
Oh my God.
pedals up beside us. We're both listening to music, so I take mine out, and I hear him say something to you. And then he says it again, and he says, "Do you know it's illegal to ride your bike with 2 headphones in Virginia?"
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, "Oh." He's like, "I'm not trying to tell you you're doing anything wrong, but I just wanted to let you know." So that was the vibe of the conversation that was about to begin.
Yeah, and then 7 miles of. I want to go ahead and introduce this guy because I certainly mentioned him in the Blue Ridge Parkway clips that I made when I was on that route, because this motherfucker is someone who I actually have run into before, just coincidentally, and then we ran into him again today, which is mind-bogglingly coincidental. Like, it seems like God put him in our path for some reason. Maybe Allie's toe
He
will...
had a lot to tell us.
Oh my God. This guy, he rode with us for no less than 30 minutes, maybe more, and
Talked
basically
the entire time.
the entire time. Yeah, his name is Rick. Shout out to Rick. He talked to me on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and when I first saw him, I tried to ask him, "Do you frequent the Blue Ridge Parkway?" Because as soon as he started talking to us, he was giving us not advice, not pointers, but almost commands.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
must, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so this guy I met coincidentally on the Blue Ridge Parkway when I was taking a very, very long break on my way to Waynesboro. And it was maybe 5 or 6 in the afternoon, so the sun was about to go down. It was September. And he rolled up and he saw me and he talked to me for a long time about how my setup was all wrong and how, like, I could do things better and all the advice for the coming terrain and what I should look forward to. And
Dude.
it was terrible because it was like, dude, I need to get going and you're holding me back a little bit. I don't want to be rude, but you're being very rude. And so, funny enough, he was talking to Allie pretty much the whole time about things she should do or
Everything
must
I'm doing
do.
wrong.
Yeah.
And I made the unfortunate mistake of saying that I'm a new cyclist, so he took that as
Permission.
an opportunity to tell me about every single thing.
Yeah.
My shoes.
Yeah.
What else?
Um,
Something about the chain, because we told him about that breaking.
He
and
told
he
us-
tried to tell you how to fix that.
yeah.
He was so concerned. He talked about my shoes for at least 10 minutes.
He was describing how his shoes worked and how
He
there's
showed me his shoes.
Yeah.
He told me about everything that could go wrong. I could chop off my toes. He's like, you have a what did he say? A spinning blade right
Yeah.
next to your toes.
Yeah, you have 50 teeth just
Yeah.
revolving around.
Just ready to snatch your toes off.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, that's true. That's valid. I didn't think of that, and I will be cautious of that. I will never turn my toes in towards the chain ring. But
I think your mom mentioned it when...
yeah, but it hasn't been a problem so far.
Yeah. It's been fine.
It would have to be a freak accident.
It would.
But anyways, I have closed-toed shoes too.
Yeah.
So I pointed those out, and those weren't good enough either. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're the soles are too bendy or something.
Yeah, the flexibility, yeah. Yeah, he was saying that these are race shoes. Like, these don't flex at all. They connect with the pedal, and you have so much more efficiency. he was saying that by the time you finished this bike ride, you would have all the energy you would have expelled because of your floppy shoes would be enough to get you halfway back.
Halfway back.
Yeah, which is a funny thing to say if he wasn't so insistent that his way of doing things was the best. That was the other thing he told us about the way we should continue the route. And he told us we would not find camping where we are right now, which, to be fair, we might be in trouble for doing it if someone comes by who's not someone we want to come by. But
several cars have passed already, and we're pretty far away from the road.
yeah, it's respectful. We're trying to do our best to not be in the eye. We're not an eyesore. Like, we're going to leave no trace, and no one will be the wiser unless some asshole calls somebody and says, "I saw a tent on the Natural Bridge
Those
State
fucking
Park."
hippies.
Yeah, but yeah, this guy, I kind of enjoyed certain parts of him talking to you because I told you while we were there, I was like, I've already had my lecture. He's already told me what I needed to do back when I was on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and I heeded none of his advice. Just because we both talked about it a lot after we left him, probably for the entirety of the time until we got to where we are right now.
Yeah.
Just because it's so annoying to be told what to do, especially on this kind of thing where, he kept referencing the fact that he had done the bike ride. But he did the bike centennial back in 76, and he had a lot of trouble remembering if that was 44, 46, 47 years ago.
Either way, it was a long-ass time ago, and he's only done 2 tours his entire life. And I'm not saying his advice was bullshit, because it was good, and you were there. You understood the vibe, the tone that I was taking. I was trying to be gracious, and I was trying to listen for good tips, because I am new to this, and I do want to listen to people who know what they're doing and things that I can improve on. But when you come at it with an attitude like that, it's just so off-putting.
Yeah.
And I was complying with all of the things he was saying, pretending I was interested in his advice. And I looked back at you at one point, and I just shook my head and mouthed the words
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you got the cue at that point.
Yeah, I was like,
And
she's
then
not on board.
as soon as he turned around, we were like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people listen to this and how many Appalachian Trail through hikers listen to this, but for me, that's the only other long distance experience I can relate this to, and the equivalent of this guy telling me the things that he did was the equivalent of an old white dude on the trail that tells me to buy high ankle boots and to buy bear spray.
Yeah.
And tells me how everything I'm doing is wrong, I'm going too fast, I'm going to hurt myself. And I experienced a little bit of that on the AT, but usually didn't try to come into those interactions. But this one was unavoidable, and he stayed with us for a long time. Was talking, and
yeah.
So it was honestly, overall, I would say an enjoyable experience, because we had a lot of shit to say afterwards, and it was funny.
Yeah.
But it also made 7 miles go by really fast. It was weird.
It was weird. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I just can't believe I've seen that guy twice in my life now. I think I'll see him again.
Just by circumstance.
Yep. Yeah. And it wasn't long. He told us that we should not follow the route that we were, the bike route, because he gave this metaphor of a box, and he was trying to say,
you know what a square is, right? Yes. Well, if you take one line, it makes it easier, but if you don't, you have to go 1, 2, 3, all the way around. And we did end up taking the route that he advised against.
Yeah.
And it was nothing. It was
fine.
Flat. It was the same shit we'd been doing all day.
Yeah, it was easy. Yeah.
And we stopped at a gas station and got cold water and beers, and we stuck to our original plan. And
so far, so good.
No one can tell us what to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
I feel like it brought out a rebellious attitude in both of us as well. Yeah. Which was fun to collaborate on.
Yeah, totally. I was immunized against his advice since I'd already met him. But yeah, it was fun. I just kind of laid back and let the two of you guys talk, and I was just like.
And he would bike up in between the middle of us, so you couldn't get away from him. And he was slowing us down because
we would have gone faster for sure.
Definitely, it was flat. It was easy.
Yeah.
We were enjoying our time. But either way, it was a fun experience.
Yeah, it was positive overall for
yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he as a person is just, I can't imagine if he's married, God bless that woman, because she must have an amount of patience that is not common. But yeah, the difference too between the guy who talked about the brewery and then Rick, who talked to us about everything we're doing wrong. It's just interesting how people can tell you things that you could do, or they can tell you things that you should do. And it is very off-putting because we're trying to feel free and unencumbered by society doing what we're doing. And here we are being told by a fellow, adventurer that we have to do things the way he wants to do them. And you really would have to be there or hear him speak to understand the extent of which he was like not merely offering suggestions but telling us what we must do. Like he was telling you bike stores to go to in like I don't know what county or what city or whatever.
I don't remember any advice that he gave me. But I won't cut off my toes. I will be more cautious about that now.
Yeah.
And he made me scared of dogs in Kentucky, so that's cool too. Thanks a lot.
He told us we should get like pepper spray for dogs. I've got some Tabasco, so that kind of counts. I was going to mention that.
Little bottle?
Yeah. I'll probably put that in my food tonight.
Start cooking.
Yeah. And so here we are now, Natural Bridge. It's something we've seen a lot advertised on the rides to and from Pennsylvania whenever we're going through Virginia. And we may not even see it this time because I think it's farther down the road than we are currently.
And down.
Yeah.
And I do not want to come back up.
Decisively down. It looked like it was about to be a pretty big downhill. And already coming down this way, it was down for sure. And it's not going to be a bad uphill, but it's, no need to make it worse than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And so we've got some great views, not exactly where we're camping, but pretty close by. So we might walk up there close to sunset. Maybe I could get a picture to put on my, image for this episode. Give you an idea of what we're seeing. It's the Appalachian Mountains, and it looks like it probably is the Blue Ridge Parkway that's in the distance.
Yeah.
And it seems like there's a good amount of ticks here. We've seen 2 since we stopped. But haven't seen any since, so that's good. Ooh, mac and cheese, too. Yeah, and you were saying that that might be nice for you to have tonight because you're kind of hungry.
Yep.
Which is a update from the last clip where you couldn't even finish a Nutri-Grain bar. All 150 calories of it.
Yeah, it's been weird.
Yeah.
But overall, we're happy.
Yeah.
We're excited to be here. And no one can tell us what to do.
Yeah, fuck all that. That is so annoying. I mean, it was nice on the Appalachian Trail because those kind of guides couldn't keep up with us.
Yeah.
But he was not keeping up with us, but he was slowing us down.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you're on the trail, I feel like it's harder for them to stay with you for that long.
Right, yeah.
At worst, you'd hear it at shelters, and that's about it.
Right.
But, yeah, whatever. All's well that ends well.
Yeah.
And this ended well.
But it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. And now we're cooking, and I guess that's about it for the day.
Don't really have any plans for tomorrow.
Maybe a 70-mile day.
But, yeah, maybe a 70. Because we want to get out of Virginia. We want to get out of the East. We're so excited. But this is really fun. And it's so beautiful around here. The Blue Ridge Parkway was so pretty. And these views that we have, I would recommend this area. Yeah. I feel like the Natural Bridge is cool.
Yeah, it is.
Even if we don't see it.
Yeah.
The area is really nice.
Yeah, for sure. Good views.
And it's not too hot.
No.
We actually moved a picnic table over in the shade where we have our camp set up, so we are...
sitting pretty.
Yeah. It's a really good time right now.
Yeah, it is. And no thanks to Rick for that. Yeah. I guess that's about it.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck you, Rick. Bye.
Bye.